Hey everybody, it's Trigger Bar Philosopher. Welcome back out to the channel. Today we got another great episode in our HK CC9 9mm series where we are taking a look at self-defense rounds that work in shorter barreled micro 9mm handguns. Should be a good time. Let's get to shooting. Today we're going to be talking about the HoneyBadger. Now the HoneyBadger has some notoriety. I believe that the military has picked up some contracts with Black Hills Munitions, which is the maker of the HoneyBadger. They have a very interesting screw tip design that's supposed to be quote unquote an external hollow point. Now, one of the benefits of a round like this is you're not violating NATO, or if you live in a state where hollow points are illegal. I'm looking at you, New Jersey. This is a round that would be legal there because, again, it doesn't have a hollow point. Now, in theory, these rounds are supposed to create a hydrodynamic effect where as they twist and spin through the medium, and especially some type of fluid type situation, and again, your body has blood and 72% water and all of those things, supposed to create a larger wound track than just the cutting effect from the bullet. How true that is, I don't know. Probably some degree true. We're going to test it out today, see how it performs, see if the HK CC9 likes this ammunition. We're going to test it out in a couple of different scenarios with our quote-unquote real-world simulation. We have our HK CC9 out today as a 3.33-inch barrel, somewhere between a SIG P365 XL and a traditional SIG. So again, 3.5-inch, 3.1-inch are kind of what you're looking at with those varieties. Again, in your Shield, in your Hellcat variety of handgun. Really like this HK CC9. It's a favorite of mine, and so we're doing a bunch of tests with it to see what type of self-defense ammunition runs best with it and performs best. So with that, why don't we go downrange, check out what our test setup is for today. In our real-world simulation, we have 2 layers of t-shirt, 2 layers of denim, and then we have 2 inches of clear ballistic gel, followed by a 1/4 inch medium density fiberboard. Very similar setup to what Gun Sam, who's made this popular and is used on the internet. So shout out to him. And we are doing something a little different. He uses 4 inches of gel before he hits the medium density fiberboard, and I use 2 inches of gel just to give you some different data. Also, this data can be combined with his to see how consistent it is between test setups and see how these bullets perform. And then I use some different pistols than he does. All right, after we have that set up, we have a whole bunch of 32 inches of clear ballistic gel. Most of the time with our 9mm rounds, going to be caught in that first 16 inches. We have an additional block that's kind of messy, kind of dirty, but that's just our catch block, and hopefully it won't be in there. Kind of have a contraption around it to hold the whole thing, the whole setup together. I have to come to a range about an hour each way for me to drive to, and so I have to set this up every single time. I don't have the luxury of having a range where I just kind of leave a setup. So this is kind of the best I'm doing here. Hope that's okay with y'all. Feel free to invest in the channel and provide more proceeds for me to get some land and have my own place to shoot on a more permanent basis. But enough said, this is fine. You're getting the data that I think is useful, and I'm getting the data that's useful to me. Okay, well, with that said, why don't we get to shooting? We'll do one shot into this setup, then we'll take all the stuff off, and we'll just do into the bare gel after that. Shout out to one of the commenters who said, hey, I'd like to see the first shot into the clear gel without any other shots with the t-shirt and medium density fiberboard to see what that is without the other wound track in it. So that's what we've been trying out. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like me to continue with or not. I've done a couple of videos this way now, so let's see what people like. All right. With that said, let's get shooting. Well, we have the 125 grain HoneyBadger bullet. Again, what's interesting about this is it's a little different than the Lehigh Extreme Defender bullet that we've done quite a bit of testing with in various calibers on my channel, because this is just made by a different group. And it's 125 grain versus often the Lehigh Defense bullet is a 68 grain projectile. So we'll see how this 125 grain projectile performs. And I'm going to make sure I turn on my camera. We did not pick it up on the chronograph. We actually picked it up on the video, which is surprise, surprise. Okay, well, let's take a look at that. It actually looks like it did fairly decent job. I don't know. We're going to have to take a look at this block from some different angles, but it came in, went through our shot didn't do much because, again, it's just kind of not a non-expanding. This is the shot right here. So we get a .355 hole going through that. And then it looks like it did some weird tumbling, but what's throwing me off on that, did the tumbling out at about 5 inches to about 7 inches. And what's throwing me off about that is that it looks pretty three-dimensional as we look through there. So let me kind of rotate this block around for y'all and see if it is kind of one-dimensional tumbling. The bullet ended up pointing backwards, so I don't know. No, it's definitely just tumbling for the most part in there. Tumbled first there, but then it looks like it did some, decent damage going in the different direction that tends to be more three-dimensional. I don't know how much I like that, just to be honest. You look, it's just a straight path out at that point. So I don't know. Yeah, this is the problem with some of these rounds. Tumbling is okay. It's not the best because, again, it's in one dimension and often it's not very reliable. Let's shoot one more into this gel block without the clothing, without the medium density fiberboard. With these non-expanding bullets, the clothing and the medium density fiberboard don't tend to mean much because they don't do anything to the bullet. This is the projectile we pulled out of it. Almost could reload it again. Boy, I am losing light super fast. I don't think you're even going to see much of this. My slow motion camera needs a lot more light than we have available, but we're just going to shoot this into the gel block, see what we have. And I'm not picking anything up on the chronograph because it's so dark out. Okay, taking a quick look, that did better. So when it must have hit the medium density fiberboard, it made it some instability and started it from tumbling. Here we can see the bullet did a more spirally job and got through it, got out to about the 14.5 inch mark, so a little bit deeper penetration. Yeah, did a little bit better job that way. Yeah, it's got a decent wound track when it's stable and goes through that, but I still kind of think some of the Federal HSTs did a little bit better, but let me know what you think. All right, well, I have my Garmin 0C1 out. We're going to shoot a 5-shot group, see how this performs, getting some velocity readings. 1,000. Session summary, we got a min of 933, an average of 962, a max of 1,004, and extreme spread of quite a bit of 71, an average kinetic energy of 257. It's not great. I think it's too heavy for this projectile, but I don't know. Okay, well, we are at 7 yards, and one of the purposes and reasons for this is to see how well it prints on paper. Sure, it could be considered accuracy, but are the bullets tumbling? Are they stable? Are they going, we're getting larger than groups that you might expect? Generally, that's not the case, but weird things happen. You sometimes see it on paper where you might not see it in other tests. That's why I like to include this. Again, we're at 7 yards. Maybe one more. Nope, just didn't get locked back. Don't know what the reason for that is, but let's go down and take a look. Okay, let's take a look at those 5 shots. Again, you get a weird pattern. I don't think the ammunition is tumbling. I just think it's doing this because of that weird screwdriver tip, and that's how it cuts through paper. Again, you might like something that, like a wad cutter because it punches a cleaner hole, but that's just the way this is in my experience. It's doing fine. I was rushing a little bit because I'm out of time. I think that this ammunition shoots just fine. Okay, well, let's wrap things up. Today we had a great time shooting this HoneyBadger 125 grain ammunition from Black Hills Munitions. I think it's an okay round. I don't know. I'm still up for debate on whether or not these external hollow points. I used to be a huge fan of them, especially the 68 grains ones that Underwood loads from Lehigh Defense. I'm not so sure the HoneyBadger, I don't know, ballistically in the gel, if it's tumbling and doing all that, how reliable is it? And the tumbling, is that something you can count on, or is it sometimes you'll get like a big wound track and less penetration, and then a smaller wound track and more penetration? Like, I don't know. So But I'd love to hear what your comments are, your experiences are on them. I've heard mixed messages from people that like to use these types of rounds from hunting. Some say they're great, others say they don't perform. Interesting load up from 125 grains. It's a solid copper, and I would assume that, you know, you might want something a little bit bigger. It's a really big projectile, being subsonic at 125 grains, 1,000 feet per second or less. No, well, I'd sure love to hear what you all have to think about this round. Is this a good one? Would this be something that you would carry in your Micro 9? I don't know. I hope everyone has a great week, and let's get to shooting.
From pistols to rifles, we'll take on the best. Review and each weapon, put them to the test. With revolvers and shotguns, we'll break it all down. The Second Amendment protects from the crown. Living for free.